Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am, of course, Adam, and we're back for what we used to call these were random rants, and this is probably another one of those again. We'll find out as we go throughout the video. But Alexis Sanchez has been grabbing the headlines after he did an Instagram live where he spoke about his time at Manchester United and having got rid of him on a permanent deal to Inter Milan this summer. Manchester United fans thought we saw the back of Alexis Sanchez. He didn't do much speaking off the pitch when he was at Manchester United. He didn't do any speaking on the pitch either when he was at Manchester United. It was a pretty forlorn figure at the club, and it was a deal that proved out to be disastrous for all parties involved apart from Alexis Sanchez's bank account. And Manchester United have finally gotten rid of him, and now because he's no longer a Manchester United player, he's able to open the curtain somewhat on his career at Manchester United and his time at the club. And he has been quoted as saying he wanted to rip up the contract at Manchester United within day one and return to Arsenal. And because of this, he has been roundly criticised, and United fans have gone after him online after hearing those kind of things, because he was highly paid. He doesn't look like he's taken any personal responsibility, and obviously, saying something like that isn't going to go down well with the fans. But do we need to look a little bit further into this? Has he been misquoted? Has he been lost in translation? And what is the context of that comment? Because it was about a 6-minute live that he did speaking about Manchester United and speaking about various other things. So let's find out what exactly went down and what Alexis Sanchez actually said. Rafa da Silva, on the other hand, hasn't messed around. He hasn't waited around for anything. He's come in straight with a little bit of dig. But we're going to find out what he said. We're going to break it down and we're going to react to it as we go through. And thank you to Abdel who has translated Alexis Sanchez's comments on Twitter. It's worked out a great deal for me because it's meant I haven't had to trawl through the video and break down every single thing. So thank you to Abdel for translating the interview. Let's get stuck into it and find out what Alexis was talking about. So the first quote we get is, "I'll talk a little bit about my experience in that club. The first day I arrived at Manchester United, I believe I had an agreement with Manchester City, but football, these things happen, and the opportunity to go to Manchester United arrived. I paid attention, and it was a beautiful opportunity." So already within that first quote, we hear Alexis Sanchez say it was a beautiful opportunity to join Manchester United. Maybe, things were in place for him to join Manchester City, but then the offer came from Manchester United and he joined the club. It was a beautiful opportunity for him. Obviously, we saw those images of him in a Manchester United shirt as a younger lad and things like that. And it was obviously a move that he wanted to make happen. It was a beautiful opportunity as he describes it. But at the same time, he's saying, I believe I had an agreement. Like, with you either know or you don't know. As a player, take some responsibility for where you want your career to lie, if that is what you're hinting at. But we can't really get on his back for what we've heard so far, especially when he describes coming to the club as a beautiful opportunity. He then went on and said, I like the club a lot. Well, at the end, I signed with United without being informed and aware of what was going on internally in the club at that moment. Then, my first day of training with my mates and my coaches, I realised things you don't notice from outside. So he's already hinting at unrest at Manchester United. That was nothing to do with him when he arrived. Now you've got to think about the time that he came into the club. January 2018. Obviously that season we finished second with Jose Mourinho as manager, but it was a time and a period of time we weren't challenging for the league. He had spent a lot of money. He was getting roundly criticised for some of the performances and the style of football that we were playing. And the treatment of some players, you've got to think about, Anthony Martial being dropped from the team when he was in form for Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez, his wage bill, did that rock the boat a little bit? Did that make a few other players a little bit pissed off? Because we know these things can happen. But he's already hinting at things that were out of his power being at hand at Manchester United, and the atmosphere maybe not being as great as he wanted it to be. And you've got to look at the time and put that into context of when he joined United, and it probably rings true. This was in the middle of Jose Mourinho cracking up. After I had my first training, I realised many things, and I went home and I said to my family and my agent, don't pass me the contract, buddy, to go back to Arsenal. They laughed at me, of course. At the time, something didn't feel good or right. A month passed, I continued to have this feeling, and I realised we are not a team. We are not together at that time. I am just telling you the experience that I had. Journalists talked without knowing about anything, what was going on inside the club. They annoy you and hurt you by saying it is all your fault, this and that. So not quite what is being reported. It sounds like, you know, a kind of flippant remark that he made when he initially joined because of his first reaction to what was going on. But then it was a nagging doubt that obviously grew within him. He didn't say it as disrespectfully as maybe has been coming out in the headlines, and you would expect that from the British journalists, taking something that's not directly in English and mistranslating it and misquoting it and maybe twisting it a little bit to get, you know, their headline out of the story. But it does hint at him being uneasy with the move, joining a club that wasn't in the best position, wasn't a happy place to be, and it must be difficult for him because, look, I know he's getting paid an awful lot of money, and as a senior figure and as a key player, especially when you look at the wages and you look at your experience and you look at where you come from in the league, you've got to take some responsibility and say, actually, maybe I can be a spark that gets things going around here. But he seems to be one of those guys, and look, people have different personalities that needed to be, you know, encouraged a little bit more. And you're not going to get that from Jose Mourinho. We've seen it with Anthony Martial. The team was disjointed. You could see it in the performances. And although we did finish second, you know, the signs were there that all wasn't well with Jose Mourinho. The following summer, obviously, he didn't get what he wanted in the transfer market. And from there, he blew up and he imploded. And the writing was on the wall. So you can understand it being difficult for a new player coming into a new team at this time with the expectation that he had on him. And also, you know, the media scrutiny being on another level because you're not at Arsenal anymore. You're at Manchester United now, the biggest club in the country, one of the biggest clubs in the world. And the media scrutiny, the fan scrutiny, the intensity of that is different to anything else. It's different to anything else. And he struggled to deal with that. He struggled to deal with it. But at the same time, you know, he's a human being. I have a little bit of sympathy for him. But there's a common theme throughout this. He doesn't take any personal responsibility. He went on to say, they don't realise that the environment affects the players. If we as a club and a team are not together as a family and not one, then it is going to affect any player. We were not united and it reflected on the field. It was not any one player's fault. It hurt me that I was not able to perform. And look, you know, a lot of people can criticise Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for whatever. And obviously Jose Mourinho has achieved great things in football. But you have to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with the way he's turned things around in terms of the team spirit, in terms of the feeling at the club. The feel-good factor is back. Everybody wants to be there. Who knows if Alexis Sanchez was to join a club in that state, you know, in the state that we're in at the moment, maybe things turn out a little bit differently for him. Maybe. Who knows? But you have to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with turning it around like he did do. Because a player of the quality of Alexis Sanchez coming in to a team at that time couldn't readjust to the madness that was going on. And that says a lot. And other players were suffering too. It wasn't just Alexis Sanchez. He went on. The next season the manager was changed and the current manager, Ole, came. And I decided to talk to him. I told him I need a break. I need to breathe. And he was kind enough to give me that. And when Inter came for me, I told him I want to go, and he said sure, no problem at all, and allowed me to take that opportunity. Shows you there that Ole really didn't care whether he stayed or went, and probably wanted him to go. We obviously hear the talk about him and Mason Greenwood having a little clash in training, and Ole siding with Mason Greenwood in the benefit of the team in the long term. And you know, Alexis Sanchez is telling him I want to go, and whilst Ole's granted him that opportunity and allowed him to take that break, it was clear Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't fancy him. And he said, now I only have word of gratefulness to United and the club to have given me the opportunity to wear the shirt. It hurt me a lot to not be able to give them what they wanted. If the environment at the time when I arrived was more positive, more as a family, perhaps things would have been completely different or better. I was not happy at the environment at the time, or the noise from outside was not helping. It was a period that I learned from as a player and a person. Again, I am grateful to United for the opportunity to vend their colours. I am sad because I've always liked to be at United and I wanted to win it all and make the fans happy. So, as you can see, Alexis Sanchez's comments weren't quite as bitter and twisted as maybe some of the headlines and some of the reactions to those headlines have made it appear to be. But it does reflect quite badly on the state of affairs that Manchester United were in at that time. You know, all the fanfare and all the glory around the signing of Alexis Sanchez and what that meant for the club, when in reality, behind the scenes, it wasn't a great place to be at all. The new player himself didn't feel great at the club, and it shows you what a dire state of affairs it was at that time. Now, obviously, we've still got a long way to go as a football club, but it shows you how much we have improved. You know, we've got the likes of Alexis Sanchez off the wage bill. We've got him out of the club. And look, that was the best for us and the best for him, which is clear in what his comments said. Now, I sympathise with him a little bit for some of the things that he said in there. But overall, you have to take more personal responsibility as well, as a man, as a player. If you really wanted to prove those critics wrong, or you know, those kind of things, those people wrong, then you could have stayed and you could have fought and you could have, you know, made yourself go down as a hero rather than going out the way that you did. But sometimes Udinese and Arsenal is just your level, and you have to feel for him a little bit, but ultimately take it on the chin, because he was well paid. You know, he was well paid, and I understand and I sympathise with him maybe, you know, dropping, you know, his levels dropped and everything wasn't going right for him, and it was supposed to be a great move and it didn't go to plan, and he's having to deal with Mourinho. But take some personal responsibility as well, I guess. Anyway, making a move from a little club to a big club isn't for everybody, is it? Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in to AdamMcKola TV. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, getting your thoughts in the comments below on Alexis Sanchez's comments on his move to Manchester United. And of course, if you can, join the channel too. But for now, I've been AdamMcKola. You lot have been legends. I'm out of here.